It's funny. Most couples don't break up because they fall out of love. A lot of the time, it's because one is a saver and the other a spender. It's a story we see play out in homes all over the world, right? One person feels that knot of anxiety tighten in their stomach every time a credit card comes out. Meanwhile, the other feels totally suffocated, just controlled by a budget that seems to always be about some far-off future, instead of enjoying the present. And before you know it, money isn't a tool anymore. It's turned into a weapon.
So let me ask you a question, and be honest. Who holds the wallet in your relationship? Is there a designated fun police, or maybe a reckless spender? This exact dynamic is one of the biggest sources of stress for couples. But here's the thing. What if this whole fight, this constant push and pull, isn't really about the money at all? What if it's all built on a massive misunderstanding of what money means to each of you?
All right, let's really get into this. On one side, you've got the saver. For the saver, spending is genuinely stressful. Why? Because money isn't just, money. It's safety. That healthy bank account, it's like a fortress, protecting them from all the craziness life can throw at you. Then, on the other side, you have the spender. For them, saving feels like being put in a cage. It's so controlling. Because for them, money is freedom. It's the key to creating joy, having amazing experiences, and actually living in the moment. You've got two people looking at the exact same bank statement, and they're seeing two completely different realities.
And that right there is the key to this whole thing. The problem isn't the spending. It's not the saving either. It's the deep emotional misunderstanding between two people who are both just trying to feel safe and secure, but in completely different ways. Welcome to Ditta Finance, where money meets real life. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you how smart couples get past this fight by figuring out the hidden story behind why they handle money the way they do.
So to do that, we've got to look way deeper than just the bank statements. We need to uncover what's called your hidden money story. And a lot of our approach here is inspired by the incredible work of Ken Honda, the author of the bestseller Happy Money, Happy Life. He's really spent his whole career digging into the emotional side of our finances. And this really gets to the heart of what Ken Honda talks about. Think about it. Money fights are almost never about the actual numbers, are they? They're about our deepest feelings, our memories from childhood, and these powerful beliefs we picked up way, way before our partner ever came into the picture. All that stuff, all our past experiences with money, it carries an energy, and we drag that right into our relationships. So this brings us to this idea of a money personality. The best way to think about it is like your financial fingerprint. It's totally unique to you. It's your personal, emotional relationship with money, and it's been shaped by everything you've ever seen and felt. And this personality, it's the invisible force driving every single decision you make, whether you're saving or spending. Figuring out your own and your partner's is honestly the first real step toward making peace. Okay, so let's dig into the saver's money personality first. For a saver, the single biggest emotion driving them is the need for safety. A growing savings account has nothing to do with greed. It's about building a wall against all the chaos in the world. It's this deep, almost primal need to know that if something goes wrong, a job loss, a medical emergency, that they're going to be okay. And every time money is spent, it feels like someone is pulling a brick right out of that protective wall. So where does this intense need for safety even come from? Well, almost always it's rooted in the past. A lot of savers grew up in homes where money was always uncertain. Maybe they watched their parents constantly worrying about bills. Or maybe they went through one of those moments where everything seemed totally fine and then just suddenly it wasn't. That kind of experience gets imprinted on you, and it creates this lifelong mission to make sure it never, ever happens again. Okay, now let's flip the coin and look at the spender. Their emotional driver is a whole different world. For them, money is a tool for freedom, for connection, and most of all, for joy. It's what lets them say yes to life. That weekend trip, that nice dinner out, that perfect gift for someone they love, those aren't just silly expenses. They're investments in being happy and making memories. To them, just hoarding money in a bank account feels like choosing to live in a gray, boring, fear-filled world. And believe me, the spender's backstory is just as powerful. For many, they might have grown up with a kind of emotional deprivation, where stuff, material things, were used to show love or to fill a void. Money basically became a stand-in for affection. For others, it comes from this deep, core belief that life is short. Maybe they lost someone close to them early on, or they just have this powerful drive to avoid the regret of a life that wasn't fully lived. So their spending, it's not about being reckless. It's about trying to feel truly alive. So this is where it all blows up. When these two really different money personalities clash, this is what happens. The saver says something like, "You're being so irresponsible with that purchase."
But what the spender actually hears is a direct attack on their character. You're stupid, I don't trust you. So they fire back. The spender says you're so controlling with the budget. And what the saver hears is an attack on their deepest need. Your need for safety is a weakness. And just like that, every single talk about money turns into a personal attack. And slowly but surely, that love starts to curdle into resentment.
Okay, so that's the problem in a nutshell. But what's the solution? How do you actually fix this? This is where we get into what I call the smart couple playbook. And listen, this is not about finding some lame compromise where both of you are kinda unhappy. This is about creating a whole new system where both of you feel heard, understood, and emotionally safe. So, what do smart couples do differently? It really comes down to three powerful things. First, they name their personality, but without any blame. They just state it as a fact. I'm a saver or I'm a spender. It's not an accusation. Second, they build a system that actually honors both of them by separating their money into different emotional buckets. And third, and this is huge, they learn to talk about the feelings behind the money before they even think about talking about the numbers in the budget. Let's zoom in on that second step because honestly, it's a total game changer. Smart couples create two totally separate pots of money. The first one, we'll call it security money. This is for savings, for emergencies, for investments. The one and only purpose of this money is to feed the saver's need for safety. The second pot, that's freedom money. This is a completely guilt-free fund for spending on things that bring you joy. Its only job is to satisfy the spender's need for freedom and living in the now. See, it's not a compromise. It's a system that says both of your emotional needs are valid and important.
You know, when you start using these strategies, the entire goal shifts. You stop trying to just manage a budget, and you start trying to build real trust. So this last part is all about putting this into action and finally turning money from something that causes fights into something that builds a foundation of trust. All right, here is a super simple but unbelievably powerful exercise I want you to try, maybe even tonight. Sit down with your partner. I want each of you to finish this sentence just on your own at first. When I think about money, I feel because. Then you share your answers. And there's one simple rule. When one person is sharing, the other person's only job is to listen. That's it. No defending yourself, no trying to fix it, no debating. Just listen. Try to understand their hidden money story. I'm telling you, this one conversation has the power to stop years of the same old fight. And this brings us to what this is all really about. The ultimate goal here. A healthy financial partnership isn't about one person winning the fight. It's not about turning the spender into a saver or forcing the saver to just lighten up. Real financial balance, the kind that lasts, is when both people feel emotionally secure. It's when the saver knows that their fortress is strong and secure, and the spender knows they have the freedom to really enjoy their life. That is what a real win looks like. At the end of the day, as Ken Honda so brilliantly teaches, happy money flows through relationships that are built on trust, not on fear. Money should be a tool that brings you closer, not a weapon you use for control. So we'll leave you with this one last question to think about. What conversation will you start tonight? Like, subscribe, and follow Ditta Finance for smart money tips that strengthen relationships.